Speaking of moving on, Reds decided to move on from Jake Fraley. He is a guy that has had his, I guess, highs and lows with this baseball team. There was a time where I think Jake Fraley was maybe the best professional hitter we had, right? He's like, this guy's just a pro. He is good at bat after good at bat after good at bat. And, I have a little soft spot in my heart for Jake Fraley because I don't think he had the easiest time here. I think he obviously had the situation he was battling with his family matters, with his daughter, that I would hope that none of us have to go through. And I can only, as a parent, imagine what that feels like. And it's a sickening thought. So he has that to deal with. And then on top of that, obviously, he had some injury issues that he kind of was battling that was plaguing him. And he never was really able to bounce back and be his former self, if you want to call it that, Nick. And I think at this point, there just wasn't a lot of upside, right? There just wasn't a lot of upside. And I know the floor might have been a little bit higher than maybe some other guys that are still around, but it didn't feel like the floor was that much higher for for what you were giving up for the potential and or the ceiling that he was capable of providing.
Yeah, I think the Reds tried to trade him at the trade deadline and couldn't come up with anything. And I mean, something I think happened last night after he got hurt. And I think there clearly was it just seems like that clearly had to have played some part of that. And there was some conversations, and it just, I guess it got to a head where it seemed like it was time to move on. And 2023, I thought Jake Fraley was the Reds' best hitter against right-handed pitching. I mean, I think in 2022 and 2023. And I think the injuries were a massive reason why he never got back. I mean, he was playing with a bum shoulder, I think, all year this year. So for the Reds, I think Will Benson's a better option. And he's also a player that you're looking to, with at least has a chance to be a player in the future, where Jake Fraley was going to get non-tendered this offseason. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone picks up Jake Fraley off waivers, because then you have to take his full salary, and that'll be a good indicator as to where his value was. If someone picks him up off waivers, it's going to be hard to understand why the Reds couldn't have found a trade partner at the deadline. Now, maybe something's changed. Maybe there's a team that has had more injuries since then. It's a shame it didn't work out, but at the same time, I think this is the right move for the Reds.
It's the right move. Yeah. I think that, for folks not thinking that we're playing our favorites, as many of them seem to think that we do, although I have no favorites on this baseball team, and I say that directly into the camera. I really could give a damn about any of them. If you told me I could trade this player or that player to make the postseason guaranteed for the next 6 years, I'd trade any of them. You tell me the name and they're gone. But I think Will Benson was a better option than Jake Fraley, pretty much in every aspect of the name. And defensively, I think Will Benson provides better upside. And not only that, but I think he's just a better defender, period. I don't care what the metrics say, to be quite frank, because I've watched the games long enough now to feel pretty confident in saying that. And then secondarily to that, I think that Will Benson at the plate has the capability, and he's already shown the capability of probably providing some spark and or a flash of brilliance, if you want to call it that, much more than maybe Jake Fraley would. And again, that's not taking anything away from Jake Fraley. And I don't think that the margin or the difference between Jake Fraley and Will Benson is significant. But I think that based off the circumstances, as you've already said, you keep Will Benson around for a number of reasons. Will Benson's back. Reds win games. I know that people are thinking I'm trolling when I say that, but it's the truth. And the other thing that I would also say is that everyone in the comments is sitting here saying that I'm trashing Spencer Steer. I don't know if I've said Spencer Steer's name once tonight. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if I have. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful to Spencer Steer. I'm not. I'm really not. Just because I said Stal Stewart's position might be first base in the future? Like, I don't know. I'm not even going to go down that path tonight. But it's like Kyle Farmer Scooter Gennett, all these guys have the same thing that Spencer Steer has. Like, the fans love them. Absolutely adore them. You know what I'll say? I'm glad that they're adored.
I would also add on Fraley, I think the Andujar also kind of played him out.
Definitely.
I think
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, Fraley's only had 2 plate appearances since August 8th. That was like 9 days or something like that. But I think that Andujar, when the Reds got him, the plan was pretty much just to play him against lefties. And he came up and he tore the cover off the ball. And so I can't take him out of the lineup. And that, I think the plan would have been you would DH Lux and you'd play Fraley in left field because Fraley could, would be a better defender out there, certainly. But without that, I mean, then yeah, if you're going to play Andujar, it really makes Jake Fraley's role hard. The question is how much playing time will Will Benson get? I mean, it's probably largely going to be dependent on Andujar, Lux, how do these guys perform? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Will Benson, if he's just taking Jake Fraley's role, probably not going to see a whole lot. Although he could play center field occasionally and maybe give Friedel. I think Friedel could use a day off here and there. Not a lot, but I do think he could use a day off because it does feel like he might be wearing down as the season's gone on.
Yeah, or he's just coming back down to earth a little bit. I don't know. Not trying to be overly pessimistic here, but I'm just trying to point out some obvious things. Do you think I'm overreacting by saying that our fan base just we're dying so bad to have a winner that anybody that's average somehow becomes, in our minds, a great player or a good player? TJ Friedel's been good, but sometimes I feel like he's put on this pedestal like he's some elite level all-star center fielder. And I'm not trying to downplay it, but like I'm thankful Spencer Steer's played well. And for those that are sitting there saying, well, if it isn't for Spencer Steer or if it isn't for TJ Friedel playing those positions, who's going to play him? I get it. I'm not trying to say that they should be replaced. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is at some point, the reason that we're sitting here fighting for our lives to try to get the third wild card spot and we don't make the playoffs not even every other year, damn near almost every year, is because we have average players at these positions. TJ Friedel's an average player, Nick. And I know people are going to kill me for saying that, but I'd say he's an average player overall in the grand scheme of things over the course of the next, call it 4 or 5 year window. I don't think that we need to put him on this pedestal that if he struggles for 2-3 months at a time, that no matter what, you can't find a way to maybe, as you've said, mix him in and out of the lineup every so often. No?
I think Friedel's better than an average player. I mean, he's 2.5 win player this year. He's got a 113 WRC plus, 370 on base percentage playing center field. I think he's better than an average player. I don't think he's an all-star player. He's kind of like that in between. He's in between that level of a big league starter and an all-star. Whatever the middle is, that's exactly what TJ Friedel is.
He's a little bit of above average player.
TJ Friedel should not be the Reds' second best player, but he is the Reds' second best player. So I guess I get it. But when you're looking at the Reds' position players, I'm certainly not going to complain about TJ Friedel.
Yeah. I hope people don't take it the way that I'm complaining about anybody. It's just that I feel like we get down these discussion points about all of these position players, and it just seems like we're so desperate to have anyone that's able to produce offensively at all that if someone's average, boy, oh boy. In fact, and they would be right, they're well above average on this team.
Charlie Goldsmith brought up a point that I had mentioned earlier about where he said the Reds had 3 players, and then they had the 4 through 11 were just like interchangeable depending on the week. Now he said it was Ellie, Friedel, and Steer. I would probably put Marte in there and move Steer down to the 4 to 11. But it was kind of an interesting way to think about it, and he's not wrong. And it really just depends on the week. Now I think Espinal is probably clearly the number 11. So maybe it's 4 through 10. Maybe it's 4 through 10. But I thought the point was interesting. And yeah, it's like none of these guys are bad. Like none of these guys are unplayable big leaguers. But none of them are great either. And it's just like the Reds have this collection of those, and it's why they're close but not there.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm again, we're right there. We're close. But there's nobody in this lineup outside of maybe Marte that I would say, right now is a great hitter. I'm trying to figure out if this offense is just going through some lulls at times, and they're going to eventually just come roaring back, and it all is going to pan out, and it's going to be like it's going to average itself out, or are we just offensively this bad? It seems like the latter, but I'm hoping that the former might showcase itself.